In this lesson we're going to learn about EFIT's ability to link to external paint programs and why this forms a very powerful and useful means to enhance the quality of face sketches. The lesson is going to be divided into 5 sections. In the first section we'll explain why exporting to paint programs is so useful and also run through the one-off procedure for linking EFIT6 to your chosen paint program. This could be Paintshop, Photoshop or some other program of your choice. In the second section we'll explain how EFIT6 behaves when you choose to export the whole EFIT image as a single layer. In the following section we'll explain how EFIT6 behaves when you choose to export and modify a chosen single layer. In the fourth section we'll explain the EFIT6 multi-layer export facility, in which multiple layers can be exported and modified in one paint session. In the final section we'll summarise each of these approaches and when you should choose to use each of them. Note that you can use the index in the notes below to directly access any of these specific sections. In this first section we'll explain why exporting to paint programs is so useful, and we'll also explain how to automatically link EFIT6 to your chosen paint program. EFIT6 contains all the key functions that you need to make high quality and realistic computer facial sketches. However, integrating EFIT6 with a preferred paint program, such as Paintshop Pro or Photoshop, significantly enhances the scope of what you can achieve. Like any skill set, mastery requires knowledge and lots of practice, but even very basic skills with the paint program will greatly add to your confidence and skill as an EFIT operator. Accordingly, we'd strongly encourage you to acquire at least some basic skills with the paint program. In the rest of this section, as a concrete example, we'll show you how to link EFIT6 to Corel Paintshop Pro. By default, EFIT6 will automatically link to Paintshop Pro. You can check this under File, Preferences and Export Options. If Paintshop is not installed or you want to link to another program, we need to associate the default application for PNG and PSD files within Windows with your preferred program. Then whenever EFIT6 exports an image, it will automatically open within that application. The procedure is as follows. Click on Windows, Settings, Apps, Default Apps, choose Default Applications by file type, and then we scroll down to associate first PNG files and then PSD files with the application in question. In this section we explain how EFIT6 behaves when you choose to export the whole EFIT image to your paint program as a single layer. Click on the export icon and you'll see a list of export options on the left. Note that when you select an option, the corresponding layer or layers that will be exported are displayed on your right. Here we'll explain what happens and how EFIT6 handles the option of exporting the whole image as a single layer. We simply check the radio button and hit the export button. After a few seconds, your EFIT image will appear inside your chosen paint program. Note that the image appears as just a single layer. We now use Paintshop to create the changes to the image that we want. In this example, we've squared the shape of the hair a little, lifted the shoulders, painted the cheeks a little bit redder, and inserted a small scar on the cheek. Now the changes are complete, we simply close the Paintshop program without changing the name of the file. After a few seconds, the image appears inside EFIT6 with the changes applied. It looks fine, but how exactly does EFIT6 handle and treat these changes within the program? It's important to understand this. If we go to the Layers tool, we see that by exporting the EFIT6 as a single image, it then treats the changes as a new layer which we term an addition. By default, the addition layer goes to the top of the order and therefore lies on top of the other EFIT layers. In general, it's advisable to export the entire image as a single layer only as a final stage in the creation of the EFIT. This is because changes to the structure and appearance of the face after a paint layer addition has been made can result in undesirable effects. To illustrate this, we show an EFIT in which the cheeks have been made a little bit rosy or red through the addition of a paint layer. If the witness were now to request that the face be made a little paler in tone using EFIT, the effect is fairly disastrous. Making these changes, we can now see that the rosy cheeks no longer match up to the face below it, which has been changed. If this happens, don't panic. One simple solution would be to delete the addition layer and then do it all over again on the altered face. And indeed, there may be rare occasions on which this will be necessary. A better solution, however, is to only export the EFIT6 image as a single layer when it makes sense. Namely, when the eyewitness has declared themselves happy with the image, apart from a few small and agreed changes which you will make at the end. In this section, we explain how EFIT6 behaves when you choose to export and modify a chosen single layer of the EFIT image. We click on Export. The export window shows all the layers that currently form part of the EFIT image. We're going to select the hair layer in this example. Check also that the other layers are included to form the background and foreground, and then hit the button Export. After a few seconds, the Paint program will open. Note that the image exported to Paintshop consists of 3 layers: the hairstyle, which is the selected layer, and the foreground and background layers, which are included simply so that you can see how your adjusted hairstyle will look in the context of the whole image. With the hair as a selected layer, we use the Paintshop tools to alter the hairstyle. When the amendments are complete, we simply close the program and save the file without changing the default name. EFIT has now imported the amended hairstyle. Note that the imported hairstyle is internally tagged by EFIT, not as a paint layer, but as a custom hairstyle, and it will be included in EFIT's database thereafter. You can use the position and colour tools on it in the same way as any other hairstyle. You can view customised hairstyles by clicking on the radio button under the Describe tab. If for any reason you wish to remove a custom hairstyle from EFIT's database, just click on the large cross within the image thumbnail. Note that in this case the object is exported and the imported result is an amended object which is treated within EFIT accordingly. In other words, it can be repositioned, scaled, coloured and so on. We stress the difference between this and the result in the previous section, namely when the exported object was the entire EFIT image. In that case, the imported result was a new paint layer, which cannot be positioned, scaled or coloured within EFIT. In this section, we're going to explain the multi-layer export facility, which enables alterations to be made to multiple layers of the EFIT within a single paint session. A new and very powerful development in EFIT 6 is the ability to export and simultaneously modify all of the various layers that make up the EFIT image. This is best explained through an example. The EFIT you see here consists of 9 separate layers. Now imagine that the eyewitness says that the image is quite good, but wants certain changes to the image which you decide are best achieved in Paintshop or Photoshop. Under these circumstances, we can export all the layers of the EFIT and then select the appropriate layers in turn to work on. Select all layers and click on Export. After a few seconds, the image appears inside Paintshop. Note that all the layers have appeared. We now proceed simply by selecting the layer that we want to work on and then using the Paintshop tools to make those changes. For example, I could select the hat and change the shape to match it something closer to how the witness wants it. I could then select, for example, the jewellery and similarly make changes to that. When we finish making changes, we simply close Paintshop and return to EFIT 6. After returning from Paintshop, all the layers of the EFIT are recombined in the correct order. Provided you're comfortable with the concept of layers, the multi-layer export capability is very convenient, enables you to achieve quicker results. In this final section, we summarise EFIT's options for exporting to paint programs and how it treats the modifications you have made. Let's now summarise the main points about the export of EFIT 6 images to your chosen paint program. Firstly, we link EFIT 6 to your preferred program by associating the default file type to be the same as that used by EFIT 6. This procedure only needs to be done once. If we export the whole image as a single layer, any changes to it appear within EFIT as an addition or paint layer which is superimposed on the other layers. In general, this mode of export is best used when you're seeking to complete the EFIT. When we export a chosen single layer, only changes to the exported object or layer will be saved by EFIT 6. Though remember that in general, it's best to export the other layers as background so that you can see exactly how the image will look. Once you've made your modifications, EFIT 6 will import a modified or user-defined object, which is treated in exactly the same way as those in its database. In other words, these can be moved, coloured, scaled, and so on. A final and most general option is to export all of the layers at once. When you're in your paint program, you select each object or layer in turn to make the desired changes. EFIT 6 will then import all the modified layers simultaneously. Changes to the face layer are treated as a paint layer addition. All other changes will result in a modified or user-defined object.